What's going on, everyone? My name is Spidey and I'm an award-winning mentalist and social psychology lecturer, which means I make a living reading people. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 really effective ways that are going to help you figure out when someone's trying to lie to you.
The problem is you were telling a lie.
Now, before we get started, I want to show you a video of someone who is lying through their teeth. This is a woman at a pawn shop trying to return a power tool. And I want you to notice how obvious it is that she's being deceptive right off the get-go. Hopefully by the end of this video, the reasons will be a lot more clear. Take a look.
This is brand new in the box and I didn't know if it was,
Okay.
yeah, you could take this off and then you can see, I didn't even want to take it out of the inside box. So if you
I see, there's a box and a box.
in a box, so I didn't mess with it any further. So if you want,
Alright, I'll flip it around, we'll check it out.
Okay. And my intention would be to come back and buy it back from you.
Okay, well, it's open
Oh,
on this side.
I didn't see that because I didn't open it. I didn't want to mess with it.
Let's see. And we got newspaper.
What the heck? If I would have saved myself a trip had I taken it. I thought it was totally sealed,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to unseal it. Oh, wow, okay.
How uncomfortable is that? I'm like embarrassed for her, and I hope you guys enjoyed that despite how cringe it is, and we're gonna circle right back to it, but I wanna start by telling you guys the biggest myth in all of lie detection, and it's this. A lot of people out there believe that there are universal symptoms that everybody exhibits when they're lying. This is true about emotions, certain emotions, but it is not true about lies. For example, if somebody has a clenched jaw and their eyebrows are going downwards, anyone who's doing that on this planet means that they're angry about something. There isn't a single thing like that about lying. You know, people think that if somebody closes their eyes, or if they look away or cover their mouth, or if they cross their arms, or if they shift their body, this means that they're lying. There's no such symptom. So if it's not something you can know for sure, how are there experts on lie detection out there at the highest levels of the CIA conducting interrogations and who have turned lie detection into a science? Well, there are 2 ways to get the truth out of someone. The first one is called clusters. Basically what that means is at key moments you observe and see how many of the signs of deception they display. Again, this will never tell you for sure that they're lying, but it will indicate a high probability of deception. The second way is persuasion methods to get the truth out of someone. That way they're not lying to you. You're getting them to tell you the truth. And in this video, I'm going to give you a variety of both of those techniques. We're going to talk about a couple of signs to look for in a cluster, and then I'm going to give you guys a really, really good way to get the truth out of someone. Here we go with sign of deception number 1. Giving an overly specific answer with a lot of details, especially when you're asked a very simple question. The reason people do this is because they tend to believe that by cooperating and giving you all the details that they're coming off as more honest. It also fills awkward silences. So they'll go into details that don't really matter. I'm going to show you guys a clip of a guy that I think is going to become a star on my channel because he is like the textbook definition of a liar. I think every symptom of a lie I've ever studied is displayed in this video. It's from the show Cops. His name is Faizel. He's pulled over, and I want to show you an example of being over specific. Take a look.
Is he staying at the hotel here?
No, he came to meet someone over here, so I'm just here to pick up my wallet because I forgot my wallet in his car.
So that was our boy Faizel, and as I said, he's gonna be back on the channel a lot because this guy's like a mess of signs of deception. They're everywhere. And by the way, I'll leave all the full videos of the clips I'm using in the description if you want to see the full thing, but this guy will be back for sure. But let's take a look at the question that was asked. He was asked, is your friend staying at this hotel? The answer to that question is a yes or a no. Anybody who has nothing to hide would either answer yes or no to that. But he goes into this depth of answer about how, you know, what the guy's doing here, and then how he lost his wallet, and that's why he's here, and all these things that weren't asked. But he believes that by giving all this information, he's coming off as open and honest. Speaking of my friend Faizel, here's another part of the video where I don't even know what was going on through his head, but he's asked about a text message on his phone that they took from him, and he says this.
Okay, Raj is not Susan, right?
Susan? No.
Who's Susan?
Susan, you know what? I have no clue.
But you sent a message several hours ago saying you have and baby and we can party a little.
Baby and party a little?
Yeah, this is your outbox here?
I'm sorry, that wasn't
Sorry?
mine. That wasn't mine.
You didn't send this text
That
message.
wasn't mine. No. Who is this message by?
So in that short little answer, our buddy Faizel gave us two other signs of deception, and they're kind of related. So the second sign we're talking about today is called non-answer statements. This is anything along the lines of, here's the thing, I'm glad you asked that. You know, and in his case, he said something like, you know what? I don't know. This is basically a very simple and primitive way to buy time for yourself to think of another answer, which brings us to the third sign of deception, which is repetition, repetition, repetition. The police asked him, who's Susan? And he said, Susan? Like he just repeated the question. These were both tactics for him to buy himself time to come up with an answer. Unfortunately, he failed miserably at coming up with something. So that gave us two signs of deception in one short statement. It was like a lie detection sandwich. No, not a sandwich, that's three. It was like a lie detection pizza. The fourth sign of lie detection, and this is one that I personally believe in my experience holds more weight than a lot of the other ones. In other words, if I see just this with maybe one other sign, I'm gonna be pretty sure the person's lying. And it's when somebody gets extremely defensive or aggressive towards the person asking the question, especially when the question was not an accusation. So a really good rule in general when you're trying to get the truth out of someone is never accuse, always allude. So I'm going to give you guys right now 6 magic words that will allow you to detect lies a lot more effectively. Those 6 magical words are, do you know anything about that? Now think about those words. Depending on your mindset, those can mean two very different things. Let's say you and I work together and there was some cash missing from the cash register at our workplace. If I come to you and I say, hey, did you hear that there was some cash missing from the cash register? Do you know anything about that? Now, look at how you would interpret this depending on how guilty you are. If you're innocent, I'm basically asking you if you heard about this. Do you know anything about that? And your reaction would not be to get defensive. You'd be like, oh my God, I didn't know about that. What's going on? How do you know? You would ask more questions and try to find more out. But if you are guilty, you're going to interpret that question as an accusation. By me saying, do you know anything about that? You'll think I'm saying, hey, what do you know about that? And your answer will be either very defensive in saying something like, well, I don't know anything about why would I know anything about that? I wasn't even working yesterday. So you're going to defend yourself, or you're going to get aggressive towards the person asking, why would you ask me? You think it's me? You think I would do something like that? Let's take a look at one of my favorite examples of this right now. So in 2007, there was a competition on TV for magicians and mentalists called Phenomenon. And the judges were Criss Angel and Geller, two very accomplished entertainers. And there was a guy on the show by the name of Jim Callahan who pretended that he could speak to a spirit by the name of Raymond. Now, Criss Angel has gone publicly multiple times saying that he hates it when mentalists claim that they have actual supernatural abilities. And I completely agree with him, so bravo for that. Now, take a look at what happened when he had to judge the act.
I have 2 envelopes here. I will give you $1 million of my personal money right now if either one of you can tell me specific details of what's... Now, don't tell me about the energy or that it's not the right time, but just tell me what's in here right now. Tell me right now what's in the envelope.
I find you an ideological bigot. That's what I find.
What's in the envelope
You
right now.
claim...
Tell me what's in the envelope. Tell me what's in the envelope. Don't give me all this bullshit. Tell me what's in the envelope.
You do not believe.
Tell me what's in the envelope. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you can
Tell me what's
But
in
the
the
truth
envelope.
is-
Right here.
Guys.
Why don't you tell me the details of what are inside this envelope? Now, if you were innocent, you would take that as a question. If you really believe you could talk to spirits, you would say, yeah, sure, let me give it a shot. I'd love to. He's offering you $1 million. But because this guy had guilty lenses on, he immediately got extremely condescending. He didn't answer the question at all. He avoided it at all costs. He got extremely defensive, and it was just so obvious that Criss Angel nailed it. The guy does not really speak to spirits. If you guys are interested in learning more signs of deception like this that allow you to make more reliable clusters and know when people are lying to you, let me know in the comments that you'd want more videos like this and I'll work on them. The fifth tip to get to the truth is not a sign of deception, but a really powerful persuasion technique to get someone to just tell you the truth. And it's called the boomerang technique. Now, the boomerang technique is most often used in sales, and you can Google boomerang technique in sales and learn what it is, but in this case, we're applying it to a lie. And basically, all it means is we are flipping around the intention of the lie. Most people lie because they believe that the truth makes them look bad. And with this technique, you basically just flip that around and make it seem like the truth actually makes them look good. So let's say you're interviewing somebody at your place of work and you feel like they lied on their CV or their application. Instead of saying, so did you lie or is this all true? Here's the way you can ask. You say, look, I totally get it. We all embellish our CVs a little. It shows great determination, drive, and willingness to succeed. I just need to know, where did you exaggerate the most? So look at the perspective shift. That's what's called the boomerang. You're literally flipping it on its head because now the person's thinking, yeah, I'm determined, I'm driven. Yeah, I totally lied about that because I wanted the job. So you're making it seem like a good thing. Or let's say you're a parent and your kid came back from a party and you suspect that there was some substances there that you're not okay with and he hasn't told you anything. Well, instead of saying, what did you do? What drugs were there? You instead say something like, look, I totally get it. You want to let loose, you want to relax, you want to experiment, you're young, you want to have a good time with your friends. I can't blame you. You should have a good time with your friends. I just want to know what kinds of stuff was there. Two things with the boomerang technique. One, if it works and you get that confession, don't suddenly turn the script and be like, I knew it. I knew you lied. I knew you did drugs. Because then the person's going to totally regret having told you the truth. You have to respond delicately to that confession. That's always a good rule in this kind of interrogation. The second thing is the boomerang technique is really, really versatile. It could be applied with a bit of creativity to pretty much any situation. Let me know in the comments of a situation where you could see yourself using this in your day-to-day life or at some point in your life. And if there's a situation you're curious about, also ask me in the comments and I'll tell you how you can boomerang that up. And now we end where it all began with the lady in the pawn shop, which to be honest also has a ton of signs of deception. But I want to focus on the ones that we talked about in this video. And for me, it comes down to a sentence that she repeats 2 or 3 times. And the line that she repeats multiple times is when she says, I didn't want to mess with it any further. And then she later says, oh, see, I didn't see that because I never opened it. That hits a lot of the signs we said today. First of all, that is overly specific. He didn't ask if she opened it. He didn't ask anything like that. He just wants to know what the thing is. Her volunteering that information, I didn't mess with it, is an attempt for her to come off as like transparent and open and honest. But in fact, to me, it has the exact opposite effect, because why would she have opened it? Nobody said you opened it. Like, why are you volunteering this information? Sounds a little suspicious. There's also a line right in the beginning of what she says, and you can go listen to it. It's right as she puts it on the counter. She goes, I didn't know if it was, and then she stops talking. It's like her mind is telling her to be overly specific, but she realized with that sentence, there's no logical end to that sentence. I didn't know if it was what? What are you going to say? Like, there's no logical end. So she's almost struggling to be overly specific, but can't. The other sign we covered today is that after he opens it and sees the newspaper, her reaction is like, oh, well, I wouldn't have brought it if I had known. I thought it was completely sealed, which is extremely defensive, especially in a case where, think about it. If you were there and you opened the box and you're expecting a power tool and it's newspaper, your reaction would be like, what? Like, you'd be so confused and like, what is happening? I don't even understand. I wonder where it is. I'm so sorry. You would apologize. You would say, oh, this is so embarrassing. You must think I'm, but she just got immediately defensive about it. Like, oh, I wouldn't have brought it if I knew. And sort of like assuming that it's an accusation. And that already started before he even opened the box. She was already defensive before he even opened the box. Even her body language was like this, like ready to like stop him from opening it. Notice that. But there are a lot more signs. So let me know in the comments, what other signs did you spot? And I'm pretty sure I'll bring her back at some point to talk about it. But I'd love to hear from you as to whether there are signs that you saw that would allow you to know, yeah, she's lying about something. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this content. And I will see you guys very soon.